Hello, wherever you're joining us from today, I want to say a huge welcome to our global community. We hope you're enjoying the Product Marketing Festival. I also want to send out an extra special thank you to all our sponsors, partners, speakers and participants who together have made this event possible. Their sessions are bursting with insights to help you level up. But remember, the learning doesn't stop here. If you aren't already, you can become a PMA member and benefit from unlimited access to exclusive templates, frameworks, mentors, and our entire library of on-demand event content. Make sure you have your questions at the ready. Simply post your question in the comments section and get awesome advice directly from our expert speakers. Or continue the conversation with your fellow product marketers in the PMA Slack community. What's not to love about that? So now, on to the next talk.
Welcome everyone, my name is Chad Myros and this is Navigating the School Ecosystem, Cross-Collaboration for GTM Success. The agenda for today's talk, I will give an introduction on who I am and where I work. I will also create the context of marketing and EdTech in 2021 for those of you who are joining that do not work in EdTech. I'll also share what it's like to work cross-functionally with stakeholders during the GTM process. Really tie in how product marketing gathers the pieces and puts them together for successful GTM launches, and also share my own personal tips and best practices for successful launches. And so, as I said, my name is Chad Myros. I'm the product marketing manager responsible for teachers, STLs, and Clever Messaging at Clever Inc. STL stands for School Tech Leads, and you can think of them as the key decision makers for implementing technology at schools. And so what is Clever? It's the portal that students and teachers use daily. Clever allows students who have already logged into Clever access across multiple applications for learning without needing to memorize multiple usernames and passwords. And in fact, we're used in 65% of US K-12 schools right now. And so a little bit about myself. I currently work at Clever Inc., leading teacher and school tech lead experiences on Clever. I've worked in EdTech for a while. Prior to working at Clever, I worked at Quizlet and Coursera. I actually started my professional career in the education sector. I taught high school English for 5 years, and I did my graduate degree in education, emphasis in teaching and learning, and also my teaching credential in 2012. And so a little bit of the context for this talk and why I thought it was important to share insights into marketing for those of us in EdTech is that EdTech in 2021 is going to be a very different scene than what it has been in previous years. Because of 2020 and the COVID-19 pandemic, schools, teachers, families, students, everyone had to learn in a new way. And more importantly, teachers had to learn how to teach in a new way without training and without support. And so a little bit of the landscape right now, you can see on this slide, I've just taken several various screenshots of articles that are out right now, really highlighting that this next school year is going to be so different in comparison to everything in the past. And teachers are coming out of a school year that was extremely different. And so something that I thought was interesting on the bottom left-hand side of the screen, you can see an op-ed piece from Education Weekly that is getting EdTech wrong would be a bitter pandemic legacy. So no pressure on any of us that are out here marketing and working in EdTech. And so right now I see 3 key challenges for marketing in EdTech, and particularly reaching teachers. And that's the audience that I'm most responsible for, and the teachers that I need to speak to, and the audience that we really want to target with adopting Clever and getting their students and families and everyone bought into using the product. And so one, I would say, is oversaturation. Every technology tried to solve the problems of our schools, teachers, students, and families. Summer of 2020 is typically known as back to school season, where EdTech companies are trying to get right in front of schools and districts and teachers. And last year, there was just a plethora of tools and ways to use them in the classroom to make up for the lack of in-person teaching. Number 2, I would say that there's a lot of adopted products from 2020. Districts and schools signed contracts and purchased technology quickly in 2020, and a lot of those contracts carry over beyond just one school year. So even though teachers might be looking for a new technology or a new tool, because of prior 2020 contracts and purchases, they can't use a tool. So that's, again, market share that we're losing. And then 3, burnout. Teaching through a pandemic and virtual learning was rough. Teachers, students, and families are burnt out. So right now, as we're going into summer, I would say the teachers are not as interested, schools, families, students, in learning more about what they can do for the next school year when they just want to take a break and relax from the last school year that they were just in. And so, how do we reach teachers with the big 3 problems? The school ecosystem, the way that we view it here at Clever, is that you have districts, teachers, and families. And I put it in this diagram because you can't reach families without reaching teachers, and you can't reach teachers without reaching districts. And for me, when we're launching products at Clever, particularly for teachers, there's a huge ecosystem of different audiences and different channels, and also different stakeholders across the different audiences. And so one thing to keep in mind, though, is all of the audiences are working towards unlocking new ways to learn for all students. So we do at least have one common goal in this plethora, mix, chaotic matrix of trying to get different products and different stakeholders bought in. And so the cross-functional teams that I work with across district, teachers, and families include product managers, growth marketing, designers, engineers, and customer success teams on the district vertical. Then on the teacher side, there's myself in addition to product managers, growth marketing managers, designers, and engineers. And then finally, on the families vertical, again, product managers, growth marketing, designers, and engineers. So there's multiple teams across multiple audiences all working together to get our teachers on board to using products. And that's kind of where I come in, is how do I get all of these different cross-functional stakeholders to align? And so that's the question that I always take into all of my cross-functional meetings and product launches is, how do we make sense of all the competing priorities and needs? And that's product marketing. That's exactly what this role is and why I enjoy product marketing. And it's really bringing together all of the different stakeholders and trying to make sense of everything and launch successful products. And so personally, I feel that product marketers are the storytellers of the product that tie every stakeholder to a common mission and goal. And a slide that I saw from a senior marketing manager of podcast at HubSpot, and I was looking online, is this quote right here. It really sticks out to me, is nothing sticks in your head better than a story. Stories can express the most complicated ideas in the most digestible ways. And I think that's the key to product marketing success when you're collaborating across various stakeholders, is just a strong story. And so I'm going to give a product example, and that example is Clever Messaging. And this is a new product that Clever is recently revamping, and it's going to launch this summer in summer 2021. I'm sorry. This is a new product that is going to launch in summer 2021. No, this is a revamped product that is going to relaunch. No, I'm sorry, you have to edit all this out. But this is a product that is going to launch in summer 2021. And so the responsibilities of myself, the product marketing manager, is 1, to identify product market fit, 2, to complete user research, 3, develop product positioning, 4, message testing, as well as other prototype testing with our users and making sure that they're aligned, developing sales enablement, objection handling materials, as well as customer success training, and then the heart of the launch, the go-to-market plan. And so I wanted to give a little bit of an outline of the processes that I use to get my cross-functional stakeholders aligned and also position myself as the product marketing manager to really tell the story and own it and really drive product development and influence the roadmap as well as designs. And so I start off with the cross-functional kickoff, and I align with cross-functional stakeholders on corporate goals, team goals, and the ideal vision for the product in the market, right? And so when it came to Clever Messaging, really just brainstorming, what is it that we hope a Clever Messaging product can do for our users and for our overarching product and business. From there, when I left that meeting as the product marketing manager, I really leaned into user research, right? Everyone has an opinion on what should be built and why. And this is the opportunity for the PMMs to really hear what users need, would like, and what are they currently using. This data will be the crux for positioning and targeting, in my personal opinion. From there, after doing some of the research, I like to work closely with my growth marketing manager. And based on the findings from user research and that sort of qualitative and quantitative data, we ran channel tests on positioning, value props, and fulfillment of user needs. And the results here really help ground and shape the future GTM strategies. So the user research and the testing with growth marketing really set up the product marketing manager to understand the audience, the marketing, and really the story that they're going to tell the users and the share. And so from there, after you've had the user research and the testing, and you've really been able to develop your understanding of the story, I like to call another cross-functional share out. And so as product teams continue to refine the roadmap and meet milestones, research and testing can drastically influence prioritization for product stickiness. And likewise, design can refine the UX to drive adoption. And last but not least, after all of those processes come together, we have the go-to-market, piecing the story together. Throughout the product planning and marketing testing phase, PMMs have gained insights into what will best stick with users. This part of the process, PMMs lead in insights and advocate for a plan that will best suit users. And here's a little bit of a timeline. Like I said, had mentioned earlier, for EdTech, back to school, the summer, really July, August, July, August, and September is really the key moments for getting in front of teachers and marketing to schools, districts, EdTech leaders, etc. And so here's a sample plan. This isn't necessarily verbatim what we did, but in January, as I mentioned, having a kickoff meeting, creating a Slack channel or whatever communication tool that you use at your company to stay aligned cross-functionally, as well as establishing an email update cadence and a strong project document that you track every discussion, every note, every milestone, every pivot, every data piece found, every research that will influence other team members. Just having a strong project doc that you as the product marketing manager really own and update throughout the entire process. From there in February, we had a cross-functional check-in one. I started doing the user research, started developing the positioning statement, the very first version, and then starting to run some marketing tests. And the marketing tests came in from the positioning statements. Once you kind of piece together a story, you want to make sure it sticks with your users. And so you kind of test that in emails, value props, do these words catch the user's eyes? Is this making sense to users? Will it drive adoption? Will it drive interest? And you can test it on different segments as well, right? You can test it out on your monthly active users, your lapsed, your unengaged, your kind of not loyal, but maybe loyal users. And from there, you can go into March with the final version of positioning. You can do your second cross-functional check-in, and you can run more marketing tests to really make sure that the data from your previous round of testing is valid and reliable. From there, as you move forward, you'll have your third cross-functional check-in. Testing will continue, really refining and making sure that it's really going to stick with your users and really drive adoption and engagement. You'll begin to start running internal trainings, again, as I mentioned, with our customer success teams. We wanted to make sure that they're ready to deal with district administrators that need to enable this product, teachers that may have questions, families that may have questions, and also to really confirm more of what you're doing, continue doing user research and really speak to your users and making sure that this is really building up into a big splash moment. And then finally in May, as you're getting closer to the summer, you want to have your fourth and final sort of cross-functional check-in. You've completed your channel testing. You know exactly what channels will reach your users, what channels best stick, what has the most engagement, and really what messaging stuck with your users. And then you want to start thinking about launch. And then that's where June comes in, right before the big back to school season. You have your launch planning, you start developing your content, and you make sure you're aligned with your product teams for the product milestones. And so along the way, as I mentioned, the key collaborators of the cross-functional teams are product, design, and growth. So on the product side, you want to make sure that you're aligned on product milestones, engineering resources, as well as having a solid project plan that keeps you and your product managers aligned in that this product will be built and delivered when you're ready to sell it. You want to make sure you're not marketing to your users that this product can do something, and it actually can. Likewise, with design, you want to make sure that they're supporting you on your user experience and making sure that they're there in the research and understanding what teachers are doing. You can also support design with in-product content, and also really making sure that customer needs are advocated for and present within the product. Likewise, working with the growth team, having them run channel tests, targeting, segmentation, and user data to make sure that you have a holistic view of how you're going to market to your audience and what they're going to use. And so I think that is what is a key tool in the product marketer's belt is user research. For clever messaging, when we were looking at teachers and guardians and school districts, as I'd mentioned earlier, the market is just oversaturated. There's so many tools, teachers have adopted so many things. So what are we going to do to get our product in front of them? And so with user research, I was able to talk to teachers and conduct interviews, tens and tons of interviews speaking to teachers of what's working, what's not, what needs they need to be met, what would be better, really making sure that informs our product roadmap, running surveys with teachers to make sure that we can have quantifiable data on actionable steps and really have an understanding qualitatively and quantitatively of what teachers are looking for and need in the upcoming school year. Also, running usability tests with our teachers, making sure that the product makes sense. Does it drive engagement? Is it simple to use? Will it actually have teachers engaged? And then finally, running A/B tests and really positioning what teachers have said to us, our thoughts, and making sure it sticks and is really valid information that's driving teachers into usage for messaging. And so when that's done right, the successful research impact is one, quantitative data. What are their users doing? Two, qualitative data, how users are feeling. And then three, you get customer testimonials to shape and influence product. And so there may be moments along the line where this might sound like the right product to build for the right teacher, for the right school, but really you can't go wrong with customer testimonials and really emphasizing what teachers are looking for. Likewise, with channel and messaging testing, you can really figure out how you're going to reach teachers in this oversaturated market, this burnout. Are they checking their emails? Are they in the product? Or what are they doing? And so with channel and messaging testing, that's when you can test the various marketing channels. You can think through the value props, what in the messaging sticks out to teachers and gets them interested and driven and wanting to use the tool. You can think about the positioning statement. Does this catch a school district or a teacher or a family's eyes? Does this just sound like more tech trying to penetrate the school walls? Or is this really going to benefit learning and teachers in their craft? And again, that goes with messaging. What sort of messages inspire teachers right now? What sort of messages do teachers want to hear right now? We can always promise that we're going to save their time, but is that what teachers are looking for? You just don't know. And with successful marketing test results, that was something that worked really well on our team, is that when we tested the product with different teachers at different time points, we were able to more than double weekly active users of Clever Messaging. We increased feature usage by 10 times, a specific feature of Clever Messaging. And we really leveraged this in decision making for product and the next steps of what the roadmap's going to look like and how we should really prioritize different features that teachers and schools are looking for. And I think that's the key to successful storytelling. Research plus intuition equals story. You can do the research and you can get the data and you can get the qualitative findings and really understand what is happening in the market. But you as the product marketing manager are the voice of your customer. And for me, it's a different scenario. I was a teacher. I've lived that life. But I think that product marketers really need to trust what they think, right? Data's and numbers can only tell a story so far, but that human aspect that all product marketers have can really lead to that story. And so that ended with us, and on my take, coming up with the story that Clever Messaging is the secure communication tool for teachers that synergizes a child's educational ecosystem because of instant, centralized access to important information and the connection between teacher, student, and guardian where they already are, the Clever portal. And to tie all that together, some of the best practices that I hope that you were able to glean from this talk was, one, to over communicate. Always give as much information all the time. Never leave product or design or growth marketing or stakeholders out of the loop. Always share information, whether it's Slack, email, project doc, what have you. On that note, consistently updating project plans with current information. You don't want customer success teams or product teams or design teams to not know what's going on and to also share information with customers and users, particularly when they're in support that isn't up to date and incorrect. Establish a cadence of cross-functional check-ins. Again, that goes with the over communicating and making sure the project plans are updated. And as I had mentioned with the storytelling, really amplify the user and customer's voice in every discussion to unite stakeholders. And for me, really emphasizing what teachers needed, and that comes from the qualitative data and the quotes and the testimonials from teachers, really helped product design, engineers, stakeholders really see what was at the heart here, right? Getting teachers to support their students. And likewise, data and research findings anchor decisions you make that may pivot from cross-functional stakeholders. And so my advice is when you're finding that research and you're finding that data as the product marketing manager, stand strong in your convictions and really use data and research to drive the ship and really get everyone on board to successfully launch on GTM. And on that note, just remember, you know your users the best, and so advocate for them. I think that's one of the most crucial things as a product marketing manager is that you're the user's advocate. And so on that, I leave you. Thank you for coming to this talk. I hope that shined a little bit of light into what marketing for EdTech in 2021 looks like and the process of making sure that you can cross-functionally align and successfully go to market for your products. Thank you and have a good day.